Robert Snow Bunny Griffin III versus Ryan Black Power Clark. 1, 2, 3, go!
Guess what, folks? This is a versus battle where nothing is off limits. We will discuss everything that we can under the sun until we determine who the winner is. Today's contestants are Robert Snow Bunny Griffin III versus Ryan Black Power Clark. Notice they have code names for this match, so you will have Snow Bunny going against Black Power. If you want to know why that is, don't worry, hold on, make sure you listen to the whole video and we'll explain why we gave them those code names. But basically, Robert Griffin III said something about Angel Reese and the Caitlyn Clark beef. Some people don't even want to admit there's a beef. I personally do believe there is some sort of a beef, but Robert Griffin III spoke on it a little bit, but he also had his white wife in the background. Some people did not seem to like that, Ryan Clark included. Ryan Clark decided to come out and say something about that, and he mentioned Robert Snow Bunny Griffin III's wife being white. Some people thought it was below the belt. Robert Griffin did. Some people said, he didn't really even say anything about his wife. So now they find themselves in the verses. Two men will enter this Thunderdome, but only one man can win. What's going to happen? It's about to go down. Welcome to the J Boyd Sports Podcast. Tune in now. Welcome to the J Boyd Sports Podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you don't love the content, you can still do those things because you could always help a brother out. I would help you out, so please make sure you do that for me. Also, the comment section. Let's talk in there. Let's debate. Let's have replies. Let's do all that good stuff because ball is life, and you know that because ball is life, I love to have conversations with people in the comment section. Lastly, make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our wonderful videos because I know that you will love them. With that said, back to the verses. Robert Snow Bunny Griffin III versus Ryan Black Power Clark. Now, first of all, you're probably asking yourself, why is it that I'm giving them those names? Well, you're going to wait a little bit. Let's continue with the verses first, and then we'll jump back into that in a second. So, to paint the picture, we already did that. What you need to know at this moment is that RG3 went live, okay? He went live on X or whatever he went live on, and he basically, after watching Caitlyn Clark foul Angel Reese, and honestly, as I saw the replay, if Caitlyn Clark would have did that to me, it would have not done anything to me. But I'm also a strong grown man, so maybe that's the difference, I guess. That didn't look like anything major to me. People made it bigger than it was. Angel Reese kind of jumped up and kind of went after Caitlyn Clark, and it just turned into a giant thing that it doesn't have to be. This whole Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese thing in general drives me nuts because it's turned into some weird black and white thing that nobody asked for. I feel like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were going at each other in the 80s, and I heard less black and white talk about that than I did about this, which is crazy in 2025, but it is what it is, I guess, man. It is what it is. So, with that being said, Robert Griffin III saw that and at some point decided to go live with his wife. His wife happens to be white, so she's sitting in the background. And then eventually what he says is, he says something along the lines of, I think Angel Reese hates Caitlyn Clark. And people lost their minds, right? Kind of like the Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker, R.I.P. Heath Ledger, excuse me. But one of my favorite movies. But it's like, he's like, and then people lose their minds. That's kind of what happened here. So let's listen to what he had to say first of all, and then we'll go from there.
Yo, welcome to Out of Pocket with RG3, hosted by your boy and the lovely, amazing, 99-time All-American Griffin.
Yo, how can he even do that?
Y'all, I just almost passed out. But we appreciate each and every one of you guys, all the Pocket Watchers out there. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you go find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe over there. Follow us. Leave some reviews. Leave some comments because we need every single one of you Pocket Watchers to help take this bad boy to the moon. So like I said, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. So what are you waiting for? Take the mouse, move it on over to the subscribe button and click. Subscribe to our channel and let's get this thing rolling. Oh, like we always do, we're going to get right to the thick of it, like Kyle Lowry. All right, so this episode is all about Angel Reese and the fact that Angel Reese clearly hates Caitlyn Clark. Let's dive in.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Off rip, just off the rip, I kind of want to make him lose this battle because of that intro. And there's a part of me that is scared that maybe I sound like that, and I hope not. But yeah, Robert Griffin III is definitely different. Snow Bunny is definitely different. And saying that we're gonna get to the thick of it like Kyle Lowry is some very diabolical Diddy type behavior. Very diabolical. But I'm going to let the man rock. I'm going to give him a chance. But wow, that was a lot for an intro, man. That was a lot. I got to give him creativity props. I got to give him that, though. I can't deny him or take that away from him. Got to give him that. So let's continue into what he's talking about.
So after watching the play, I tweeted out, after watching Caitlyn Clark's flagrant foul on Angel Reese and the aftermath, there is no way Angel Reese can continue the lie that she doesn't dislike Caitlyn Clark. I know what hatred looks like. Angel Reese hates Caitlyn Clark. Not some basketball rivalry hate either. Hate. The reason I said that is because when somebody that you don't like says something to you, you automatically always take it to the most extreme. You always automatically say, oh, they meant to harm me with that statement. But if your friend or somebody you're cool with made that very same statement, none of us would be so quick to run to judgment to say, oh, that was negative. We would question what it was. We would react differently. If it wasn't for Aaliyah Boston putting her arms in the way, Angel Reese would not be playing basketball anymore because she was going to sucker punch Caitlyn Clark.
So this is originally what Robert Snow Bunny Griffin III said, and he essentially is saying that Angel Reese hates Caitlyn Clark, and that with that hatred he knows because after she fouled Angel Reese hard, Angel Reese was going to get up and try to sucker punch her, but Aaliyah Boston, who I believe is Caitlyn Clark's teammate, stepped in to kind of stop her from doing that. And Robert Griffin III from there decided that that's why Angel Reese hates Caitlyn Clark. Okay, I guess he said something. I feel like he was just trying to get some news in, trying to be relevant, say something to get people stirred up. But I think it more than stirred up Ryan Clark. So let's listen to Ryan Clark's response.
And so now, though, when RG3 jumps on to the hate train or to the angry train, and now follows along with what we saw from Keith Olbermann, what we saw from Dave Portnoy, as they poured on to Angel Reese to make her the villain in Caitlyn Clark's heroic or hero story. Right. The one thing we know about RG3 is he's not having conversation at his home about what black women have to endure in this country, about what young black women and athletes like Angel Reese have had to deal with being on the opposite side of Caitlyn Clark's rise and ascension into stardom. Now, when you look at it, I think A'ja Wilson is the face of the league. A'ja Wilson is the best player in the league. Caitlyn Clark is the most important player in the WNBA. And a ton of her fandom has come along with some racial bias or some racial pieces to why people love her so much. And so now, if you're RG3, when is the last time within your household you've had a conversation about what she's dealing with? You haven't been able to do that because in both of your marriages, you've been married to white women. You haven't had opportunities to have those conversations to educate you on what they're feeling, what black women deal with, what they're seeing when they think of a young Angel Reese. And the whole time that he's mimicking Angel Reese and bobbing his head and moving his neck while he's doing this whole piece, his wife is in the back amening and clapping. And so to me, it's just another situation that now this young lady has to deal with. When I worked with RG3, he would make all of these sort of corny jokes about milk and how much he loved it and how important it was. And he always points out on social media the color of his wife's skin, as if the color of her skin is what makes her special, as if the color of her skin is what makes her a good wife. I've met the lady, I've had a conversation with her. Right. I think she's more than that. But it also leads to what black women deal with a lot, from black men who have chose to date or marry outside of their race. They always feel like they have to go the extra mile to prop up the woman that they're married or the woman that they're with over black women by denigrating black women. I feel like we should have an opportunity to move past that and understand that Angel Reese can be great in her own right, as Caitlyn Clark is as well. Caitlyn Clark is a likable and lovable superstar. She pays homage to the stars of the past. She pays homage to the black women that have come before her. And now she is carrying the mantle forward. So there's no need to pin those two against each other and paint them based on stereotypical tropes. And I think this is what I'd like RG3 to know, that no matter how much he continues to echo the microaggressions of racists, he'll be no less black than me.
Okay, so that's Ryan Black Power Clark, going on a long monologue there started off just talking about Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese and where they are in the league and how they're both, I guess, good basketball players, and somehow he navigated over to race and how I didn't notice Robert Griffin III's wife like cheering in the background, so to speak, but I don't know. I guess she was cheering in the background. Maybe I didn't notice it. Maybe somebody else could take a look at the video. I didn't notice it. And so, yeah, she's cheering in the background, I guess. Okay, cheering on her husband, I'm guessing, and the things that he's saying. And so Ryan Clark goes further and he says that, what did he say? Let me take a look. I wrote it down. Let's take a look here, because he had a lot to say. So I did write it down, and notice this is going to take me longer to get through than what I went through with RG3, because RG3, all he really was saying, he did a lot of talking. Both of these brothers like to talk, so they're equal in terms of long, drawn out, holy cow, get to the points. All right, they don't get to the point. Some people might say I don't get to the point, but I mean, if I'm bad, they're the worst. Both of them equally. Okay, so let me get through all of what Ryan Clark said. Okay, first of all, he said Angel is made out to be the villain or the angry, I guess, black woman, and Clark is meant to be the hero in the hero story. Now, he's getting all this from what Robert Snow Bunny Griffin III said. Meanwhile, Ryan Black Power Clark he says that Robert, based on what he said, RG3, okay, he's saying Snow Bunny made Angel the villain and Clark the hero. Okay, I guess I can kind of see that. So to start with, all right, I guess we can go there. Fine. Okay. Not against that. Black Power, Ryan Black Power Clark. Then he said RG3 is not understanding the harm and the conversations of what black women are going through. And that's when you started to lose me, Black Power, because here's the thing. This is a basketball game, brother. This is a basketball game. This is a basketball game. A hard foul. What does that have to do with what women go through when you say they don't like each other? That's what Robert Snow Bunny Griffin III said, is that they don't like each other, and Angel really doesn't like Caitlyn. It's not they, excuse me. He said Angel doesn't like Caitlyn. Now, I don't think he reversed it back the other way. He said Angel really dislikes Caitlyn. Okay. So Black Power decided to take it over and say, oh, well, he's not understanding what black women go through. He's not understanding that. And I got to tell you, that one, I'm going to call cap on that. Malarkey. What does that matter? What does that matter? What does that matter? This is a basketball game. He's saying that she hates Caitlyn. I don't know why that becomes a color matter. Which is why Ryan Black Power Clark is called Ryan Black Power Clark, right? We still didn't get to why I call RG3 Snow Bunny. But we'll get to that in a second. But I'm not sure how we got there that quickly off of a foul. And now we don't understand what black women go through. Yeah, I'm having a hard time with that one. I'm having a hard time with that one. It's basketball. If you can't deal with the criticism, then quit. That's how I feel about that. I also feel that way because saying if you got all that from him saying that Angel hates Caitlyn, how many countless situations are there in male sports where we say these two, Chris Collinsworth and those guys that do Fox Sports and everything, oh, they hate each other. They don't like each other. How many times did we say that Isaiah Thomas hates Michael Jordan? Magic Johnson hates Larry Bird. I'm sure that I didn't hear it, but I'm sure that happened a lot. You know, these two teams hate each other. These two players hate each other. Kobe Bryant versus Raja Bell. He clotheslined him. Like, I'm trying to think of a black and white situation. Oh, Bill Laimbeer was jacking ninjas up back in the 80s and the early 90s. I think he played in the early 90s too. He was jacking ninjas up. Was that racial? I mean, it looked like it. Now, believe me, I wasn't really around watching that. I was still a little too young. But when you watch the highlights, he sure was jacking ninjas up, taking black men out left and right. You could have fooled me and saying he wasn't a KKK member the way he was taking us out back then. You know what I'm saying, Ryan Black Power Clark? But okay. Back to Snow Bunny, right? Actually, no, let's stick with Black Power Clark. Asia's face is, Asia Wilson is the face of the WNBA, and Clark is the most important. 100% agree with that. Asia Wilson might be the best female basketball player I've ever seen. So I'm definitely cool with that. I have no issues with that. No issues whatsoever. Moving forward, he said Clark's fandom is biased and they do a lot of racial stuff. I've had this conversation with people before. Maybe there's some truth to this. I don't follow the WNBA, guys. I just know about Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese. That's all I know about. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really follow the W. I will not be following the W. I don't care to follow the W. And, you know, if you hate me for that, I guess you can. No, I'm not interested. Sorry. But sometimes I've caught Asia Wilson because I think Asia Wilson is a fabulous basketball player. She may be the best female basketball player I've ever seen. That girl's nice. She is. And Caitlyn Clark is very important because she's like the Steph Curry of their league, and you see what Steph Curry did to the NBA. So, yeah, fine. Got it. No issues there. And like I said, her fandom being biased, I don't really know because, I mean, I guess. But the only thing I'd say to that when people mention this, did we not do the same thing as black people for Tiger Woods? Do we not go crazy for Tiger Woods? Did we not do that? For Ken Griffey Jr., and Barry Bonds, even though, yes, they're in a sport where there's a lot of different colors going on there. But, I mean, I went crazy for Barry Bonds and Ken Griffey. And part of it, I'm going to be honest, is because they're black in baseball. I'm not ashamed to say that. I don't have a problem with other people's race. I do have to admit that as a kid, I did like the fact that, two black guys playing baseball. Cool. I like that. And they happen to be really good. So, yeah, I rock with it. But I like the other players, too, that weren't black. But I like them. So, I feel like there's a lot of that going on with Caitlyn Clark. And, I mean, when you're a white person playing basketball and you're nice, why would you not get behind that as a white person? When they tell you how much you can't jump and, you don't have nothing on the brothers and the sisters. I would get behind, if I'm white, I would get behind a white person. Shoot. Why not? So I can't hate on them for that. I don't really play golf like that. I've been trying to get into it. I got a lot of friends that play golf. I knew who Tiger Woods was. I didn't know nothing about golf as a kid, but I knew who Tiger was, and that's who I rooted for. So the white people that do that for Caitlyn Clark, who am I? That's hypocritical to be mad at them, in my opinion. So, but maybe there's some racial stuff they do on the side that I'm not aware of. I don't follow the W, so I'll leave that to you guys to decide, those of you that maybe do. Also, I have here that he hasn't been in those conversations because both of his marriages have been to white women. Again, I'm going to call unnecessary behavior on this. Ryan, I don't really see what this does. I don't see what it does. I don't understand over a foul why we're going into his wife being white and you're saying she's clapping in the background, I guess. And I don't really understand why we got here. I don't understand why we got here. And now we're saying that he's missing out on the black conversations. To do what? All he said was she hated Caitlyn Clark. Again, this is sports. People hate people. You keep losing to the same team, you're going to hate them. You should, I would think. Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas don't get along to this day. As they shouldn't, in my opinion. I'm cool with it. I don't have a problem with it. Charles Barkley hates Skip Bayless. I don't have a problem with it, And he says it. He says I hate him. It's different because they're women? Is this professional sports or do we treat them with kid gloves? Don't get it, Ryan. Not that one. He said that RG3 feels like the color of his wife's skin makes her great. Because he used to reference milk and milk jokes and stuff like that. I don't know. That sounds like a personal thing between you two. I don't really care. I'm not going to speak on that. Black men married to white women go out of their way to prop up white wives. You kind of made a blanket statement, and I gotta say, I don't think that's all black men. I know black men that are married to white women, and I don't see them going out of their way to be like, milk of Mag. You guys ever seen Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood with the Wayans brothers? And the one guy, they had a black friend that was in daishiki all the time, and he was like, "Excuse me, my sister," right? And he's always talking about black power this, black power that. He said, "Excuse me, my sister, can you tap that white woman for me?" It was mad stupid. And he said that he was like, "Milk of magnesia." I couldn't. It was so stupid, man. And he said that, and again, this is just jokes right here. He said that his way to get back at, in the movie, white people was to date white women. And so it was a joke. It was funny, but I don't understand why, again, Ryan's going here. I didn't get that impression from what he said in that clip, and I guess he knows him behind the scenes because they used to work together, but maybe, I don't know. I can't. That's something that's between them that's hard to prove in the court of law. So I don't have a verdict on that. That might just be how Ryan Clark feels, and if that's how you feel, fine. I just don't know if you had enough evidence to bring that to the court. Now, also he said Caitlyn Clark pays homage to those who came before her and the black women before her. Excuse me, sir. Diana Taurasi is white, isn't she? Sue Bird is white, right? Those are white women that I guess are Hall of Fame basketball players. I'm sure there's others. Kim Mulkey, right? Stylish as can be. She dresses like a sister, by the way. To be honest with you. She kind of has the swag of one as well. These are all white women that I think are definitely either in the Hall of Fame or going there. So you kind of made it about color here, and you kind of once again went the black power route of where she should just be paying homage to all the women that played before her. Just like if you're Aunt Edwards, instead of he made a mistake by saying, "Oh, just Mike was nice." Excuse me, sir. Who was Larry Bird? Magic Johnson. Like, he should be paying homage to Larry Bird too, not just the black players before him. All the players, Larry, McHale, all those guys, right? That was my. I don't know why he targeted. She pays homage to the black women before her. I don't. That shouldn't matter. The color shouldn't matter there. I don't get it. So I don't like that, Ryan. Don't like it. He said, in closing, you will be no less black than me because of the microaggressions and you basically, catering to, I guess, white people. In my own words, I use the last part. And so microaggressions, for those of you that are not aware, are in general are small things that people do to kind of poke at people without easily being able to say, "Oh, look, you offended me. You said something about me. You're talking about my mom." An example, I guess, of a microaggression would be like, "Oh, so to a baby mama would be like, oh, so, is there a father at home?" That might be a microaggression because you're implying that there is no father at home, maybe because you've never seen the father. And this could be black or white or any color, but you never seen the father, so you're implying that there is no father at home, and that's a microaggression. You're stereotyping me or whatever. And in this case, he's saying it with black because he's saying like, oh, you're taking shots at black women in a way that is hard to put your finger on. And that turns into why I'm going to reveal why we calling him, if you haven't already figured it out, why are we calling him Robert Snow Bunny Griffin III? Because his wife is white. And he's had 2 wives, and they both were white. Seems like he has a preference, which is fine. That's his preference. But the thing that's crazy is that, they're saying here that, microaggressions, I guess, because of the white wife, because of the snow in the back, I guess. So I don't know. I mean, Robert Snow Bunny Griffin III took it off in one direction. Started it off with a jolt by, really running off in this direction of she hates Caitlyn Clark. And maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. Again, I don't really know. But that seemed like clickbait, and he was just trying to get people to follow along with him on that. And he had his wife in the background who happens to be a snow bunny, so that. And then I feel like I feel like Ryan Black Power Clark. Listen, the history of both of these guys, Snow Bunny he talks a lot. And for me personally, I don't really connect to him. He says a lot of stuff. He talks all around in circles. And he's just doing too much for me. Too much. He's like a ADD crack baby. Like, he's got a million things going on at once, Robert Snow Bunny Griffin III. And then Ryan Clark is always going to he's making everything about race. I'm sorry. To me, that's all he does. He makes everything about race. It's always about race. Too much stuff about race. Race this, race that. Robert Griffin III went off and said some stuff that, I mean, I don't really think Robert should have said all that. Snow Bunny shouldn't have said all that. He kind of jumped from one extreme to the other. Oh, she hates her. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying he shouldn't have said it, but I mean, we do it to male athletes all the time, but his reasoning behind it was because it looked like she was going to punch her, I guess, and the other girl stopped her. That happens all the time in sports. There's always somebody stopping somebody from running up on somebody. Everybody's supposedly going to punch each other on the basketball court, and it never happens. Except the Malice at the Palace. That's the only time that it actually happened. Other than that, people get mad, you hold them back, it's the end. Football, most of the time, it happens the same way. So you kind of went extreme there, Robert Snow Bunny. So I understand why Ryan Clark might feel a little bit offended about that. But of course, you give Ryan Black Power Clark, he is the Reverend Al Sharpton he is the Jesse Jackson of journalists, sports journalists nowadays, who was a professional athlete at one point. He's going to take an inch and turn it into a mile. You give him a crack where he can use race. He can't freaking help himself, man. Have you guys noticed that about Ryan Clark? We get it. RG3 talks a lot. RG3 is not aware to me. He lacks awareness, which makes him a little bit corny. I get it. A lot of people think he's corny. I'm hesitant to call him corny because I feel like that's a lot. I don't think he's the worst, but I can see how people feel like he's corny. And I think he lacks awareness. Like he definitely has some level of ADD, some type of crack in him. I'm not saying he's smoking it, but it's naturally, there must be a crack patch naturally attached to his body, the way he goes about moving and everything. But as far as, being kind of, wanting to attack black women because his wife is white, I don't see that much malice in him. I don't see it. I just think he's unaware. But Ryan Clark is definitely aware. Like, if you give him an inch, he wants to insert race. He wants to be... He feels like he was marching in the 60s. He really believes that. He really believes that, in my opinion. So he's going to run off in these tangents and just going way off. And he said some things that maybe I can agree with. I can. Some things I definitely agree with, like Asia Wilson is the face and Clark is, she's probably the most important right now because of the skill set. And he's not wrong that maybe RG3 doesn't necessarily have the same conversations because his wife is white, but that has nothing to do with all of this from a foul. This is where we ended up at. So, and I want to play one more thing, right? And why Robert Griffin, why I'm a little bit like, come on, Ryan, what are you doing, Black Power? Because listen to his co-host. I believe this is Fred Taylor speaking. Listen to what Fred Taylor said moments before Ryan Clark started speaking. Look where he took it. And then we're going to discuss where Ryan Clark took it.
It was a foul. It was harmless. And I think Angel just got up in frustration at the point that they were down by so much right there in the third quarter. And she got up and she wanted to get a little aggressive. But I believe at the end of the day, we need that in the WNBA. I think that'll draw fans in. But yeah, Angel, you got to take that one, baby. Like, it wasn't even necessary. I think it was a little bit too dramatic. I believe Caitlyn handled it like a pro in her press conference. But it's good to see the aggression, the passion from Angel. But yeah, man, welcome to the WNBA. It's back.
So listening to that, to be honest with you, I want to call both of these guys losers. Robert Snow Bunny Griffin III and Ryan Black Power Clark, both of y'all deserve to lose this versus battle. It's a first. Y'all both deserve to lose. And honestly, Fred Taylor should be the winner. He's the only person that kept it about sports. What are you two ninjas talking about? And you know what? Robert Griffin kept it about sports, but he got all the way to she hates her, which, is fine. I guess that's fine. But in general, this has nothing to do with your wife being a snow bunny. But why is your wife in the background of your videos, man? Like, what? That part I don't understand. Now, it doesn't make me mad. I just don't get it. So Ryan Clark is sitting up here seething at the mouth to get his hands on you. You're giving Black Power an opportunity to do what he does best, which is to insert race and become Mr. Black Power. Ryan Clark is like the Captain Planet of black analysts. With your powers combined, if you give me enough, I will become Captain Black Power Planet, aka Ryan Clark. I will combine all of that. Snow Bunny in the background, You taking the black woman over the white woman. Your other wife being white. You talking to me when we're working about milk. Oh, I have everything I need to turn into Captain Black Power. So I blame you for that, Robert. Snow Bunny Griffin III. You gave Ryan everything he needed to come get you, boy. You gave him everything. You gave him everything. You know, so I mean, when I look at it, that's how I look at it, man. That's how I look at this. Fred Taylor hit everything right on the head, man. It was a hard foul. You like to see the aggression. It's sports. There's got to be some drama, man. Y'all can't just love each other in kumbaya. With the men, we like physicality. And if 50% of your audience is men or whatever it is, it ain't me, but for the men that watch it, you want to see some fight, some aggression. That's why men like sports. We want to hit each other. We want to touch each other. Pause, no Diddy, no baby oil. Not that way. But we want to get into each other. Pause, no bad boy. The physicality. Who is the dominant male? Who's the alpha? Who's the master? Leroy. Who's the master? One of the greatest movies of all time. Bruce Leroy. Last Dragon. Why was there not a second? Why is there still not a second one to that? Why was there not 5 of those movies? That should have been like the Rush Hours. In fact, when's the next Rush Hour coming out? Either way, we're getting lost. I'm getting lost, not you guys. My bad. But yeah, I'm about ready to give this. I'm about ready to give this to Fred Taylor, to be honest with you. He said it's a good move. Caitlyn Clark handled it the right way, he said in the press conference. And Angel Reese, he said, listen, it's good to be aggressive. You want to have aggression, that's all good. But, it's just basketball, man. In the words of the great LeBron James, it's just basketball. Why are we doing all this? Why did it become all of this? So I'm going to do this one in rounds because we have a little bit more information we need to discuss in part 2 for these two brothers. But in this round, I'm going to give it to Fred Taylor. To me, Fred Taylor is the winner. So somebody ring the bell, give it to Fred Taylor. You two are losers. Y'all lost. Neither one of you is. Robert Griffin III is doing videos, making bold statements with his wife in the background. I don't understand that. I just don't get why she's back there. It's not a color thing. I don't know why she's there. And then you gave, Captain Black Power everything he needed. You gave, basically, he's the Thanos of blackness. You gave him all the Infinity Stones to activate his full power and come at you with full force. That was dumb. Snow Bunny Griffin III. But, yeah, that's how I see this one. But we got another round. We got one more round because there's some new information that we need to discuss. Hopefully you lasted this long. I know it was a long video, but I tried to break it down the best way I can. You really got to take your time and dissect these things, man. You really got to take your time and dissect them. So I really appreciate the time that you gave me today. This is a very long video. We'll see if I get any likes on this one. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I got to make the content that's true to me. And this is who I am. This is how I've discussed it in my own life thus far. This is how I would talk to myself as I'm seeing these things, right? Don't judge me for talking to myself. I know y'all do it. And if you don't do it, you should. It makes you smarter. You figure out things that other people have a hard time figuring out. Judge me. Don't judge me. It's up to you. So thank you very much for your time. Please like, share, and subscribe to the videos, to the channel. Make sure that you comment. I'd love to have conversations. Who do you think won this round? We're going to have to do a round 2 for this one. But who do you think won this round? My goat in this round is Fred Taylor. He's the only one that kept it basic and didn't do all this daggone talking for no reason. And I didn't see his wife in the background either, Make sure that you make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos. Hold on after this one because we have some other suggested videos that we know you'll love. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. I'm very humble. Much love. That somehow you never get over leaving me, and when you feel like